Hey everyone, this is Roger from Almost in Full Color, and we have another month of Amazon Gaming or Prime Gaming games that are free. As usual, we get 5 every month. They are still doing, it seems like, the once a week, but they're not advertising that as much. So we'll see if they continue that. But this will always be the review of the monthly release games. So let's get into it. First up, we have The Escapist, which came out in 2015, and you're looking at a Metacritic score of 71. It's about $18 normally on Steam, and you're going to get 19 hours of gameplay with this prison break simulation. I did review this because it was free once before in July 2019, so if you already grabbed it, you don't have to worry about this one, but key facts here was the old school graphics. This looks like a very Super Nintendo-esque game. It's an RPG style where you are in jail and you have to escape, and there's different jails you can play, so you have advanced levels here. And you do this by interacting with inmates and guards. You have to stick to your schedule. If you're out of an area you're not supposed to be in, the guards will find you and take your stuff if you have anything on you. They do random searches of cells. So it's kind of in-depth there. There's multiple ways to escape. The one comment I did make on the last one was it does have an old school vibe on this, because to escape, it's like you have to get a key from this third guard that you have to make putty from, and it's kind of trying to figure that out without no guidance. So it has that old school mentality there. But overall, I'm still in the same opinion after playing it again of this is not download for me personally. The pros here, it is a cool approach. It's different. You're trying to break out of jail, which this kind of set the foothold of these games, and they have the Escapists 2 and the Walking Dead version, so it is pretty successful. But to me, it was very niche audience. It's like if you want to try to break out of the jail and do that, it just wasn't enough depth for me to keep me held on to the game. Next up, we have Move or Die Couch Edition. So what I've learned through these games from the Prime Gaming is that they make couch edition versions. So some of the games I did complain about, there was no online, and that kind of made it local only. I am learning they do have this couch or couch party editions that they have been releasing through here that took out the online. I guess this is how they're making it free and probably making people play it, wanting to play with their friends, and you can get the actual game on Steam. Nevertheless, they're still good games, so try that out. But I am learning they do have this couch edition. This is one of them where the online is not available. But this did come out in 2016. You're looking at about 80 on Metacritic, $15, and there's no time length here. And it's because it's a fast-paced party game. And it has a very, very simple concept. You play a bunch of mini games till whoever gets the most points set to a limit. And it's usually based off time. If you want to play 5 minutes, they have a score, and they have it figured out. Each minigame is 20 seconds, so I wasn't lying about the fast pace. The beginning, I enjoyed a lot because you got to pick your narrator, and they actually had famous streamers doing narration and a lot of cast and good narrators to pick from, so I did want to call that out. The other concept of the game is the minigames, you always want to get first, you get more points. But it's called Move or Die, and that's for a reason, is when you move, you heal. If you stop, you start losing your health, and if you're not touching the ground. So any jumping, you will lose health. And you can play with modifiers on, so you can get stuff so you can have infinite jumping for one. But this is kind of a bad draw, because like I said, you lose health if you're jumping, so you can't jump but so much before you have to touch the ground. So it kind of does cool eliminating like spamming of stuff with them. The other modifier I had was like a balancer, so I was in first, I accidentally picked the balancer, and I was really slow, and that made all the opponents catch up to me. You can unlock a lot of things here from leveling up, so it has like a basic leveling system where you get like a loot box style thing. All of it's free, so don't worry about paying cash, but it was unlocking characters. You already start with Rick and Morty, so that was a big plus to me. You unlock mini games and other stuff along the ways, which was pretty in-depth. The fun mini games, I enjoyed them a lot, and this was something I was expecting with a party game, and it answered. It didn't blow me away, but I would say it's a download. I enjoyed this fast-paced and short. I could set it to 5 minutes, play some games, and have fun. The con here is if you don't like them Mario Party style games, and the fast pace. It's like very quick games and it's very small. You may seem like you're not getting content. I felt like I was pretty satisfied with this. Next up, we have Before I Forget. That's the name of the game, not I forgot the name of the game. So a little side joke there. For coming out in 2019, this game was running about $8 and there was no Metacritic score. And it's about an hour you're looking at. I completed it in like 40 minutes. And this is a first-person narration storytelling game. We've seen a couple of these throughout. And your main character is looking for someone named Dylan. You're kind of led to believe it's her husband. And you're finding notes and items that's triggering memories for her. So you start in this monochrome world. And you start brightening it up with these memories you're triggering from her. There's a cool interaction. And you're trying to figure out what's going on. I'm purposely talking around the story because it's such a short game that I feel like I could spoil it really weird. So I'm trying not to dive into that. The con for me here was there was some weird blocker. There was a hole in the floor, like blocking you from going somewhere, which it didn't feel out of place. It did feel weird for what was happening. But there was cool cuts and confusion as well mixed in here to give some of the character feel in the storytelling, which I did enjoy how the game overall played, but I would still say this is not a download. The cons for me here on this one was pretty much the length and the amount of interactions. I felt like I was clicking like 3 things in a room, move on to the next. But if you do like interactive narratives, and the story was interesting, I did finish it, so I would say that was a pro there. But I do feel like it wasn't enough for me to say I would recommend this for a download. Okay, next game I'm going to try really hard. Aces of the Luftwaffe Squadron. Hopefully I did not ruin that. But that came out in 2011. Looking at a Metacritic score of 73. And at $15, you're expecting about 3 hours of gameplay here. And this is one of them vertically scrolling shoot 'em up games. I do have a weakness for these games. I enjoy them. I enjoy playing the very hard ones that I never beat, but I do like these style of games. There was a lot of voice casting, which was really good. I enjoyed this. You had characters that you were starting to kind of bond with. I mean, it's a story moving and it's just a shooter game, so you're not getting too much story, but I did feel like the voice acting was a really good touch. And you can play 2 sides here. You can play the American stories or the German stories. Each of these campaigns had 5 levels with 5 stages, including a boss fight at the end. And this was the bullet hell style, so it was pretty challenging. You were going to see through these game shots that it's a lot of bullets on the screen at a time. But overall, I felt it was doable. I played some of the Japanese shoot 'em up ones that are really insane, where I felt like I couldn't even beat a stage. But these ones, I felt like I could still progress. You did have a difficulty level of starting at normal to hard, so it does expect to be a hard game. You get a crew of at least 4 people. If you're playing by yourself, they stick together. You kind of have to watch your health a little bit, but you do get a lot of firepower. But you can play local multiplayer. That this game did not have no online. And you can move around your ships everywhere, so that was cool. I did notice they had characters with side effects. I didn't know if it was because of the story or whatnot, and I was playing by myself, but like one person fell asleep, so their ship didn't even move, so you had to kind of protect them. I thought that was a cool touch, made it more challenging. There is a quote-unquote skill tree for each character. It's not too in-depth, that's why I wouldn't expect too much of that, but that does add replayability and specials in making your tech stronger, and that's where I felt like the challenge was doable because you were constantly upgrading your ships. The bosses were fun and unique. Here's the first boss playing now. And I felt like I was using the whole screen. I wasn't stuck at the bottom. And just, I felt entertained with it and very satisfied to beat this guy. The con here is you have like side missions, which is like pick up these people where you just hover your plane over them and it picks them up. Or take out submarines and stuff like that. I didn't feel like I was really doing a side mission because I was completing them without really paying attention. So it was just stuff on the screen. So it didn't feel like an actual side mission. It just felt like I was doing more, maybe. But other than that, I would highly recommend this game. It was a download. The pros here was the cartoony-ish look that brought a fun quote-unquote space shooter to a World War II setting, and it was a lot of fun. The con here is the bullet hell and that vertical scrolling. Again, I do recognize this is a small market for these, so if you just hate them games, you would want to skip this. Last up, we have Moving Out, which came out in 2020. You're looking at about 5 hours of gameplay for this $25 game that got a score of 79 on Metacritic. And this is a physics-based moving simulator. There's 2 games that came out like this, Moving Out and Get Packed. So if you played Get Packed, this is very similar. The graphics here I enjoyed a lot. It has this cartoony feel like Overcooked. I felt like I was in there, and especially the characters I was picking, I could pick cats and dogs and stuff like that. I got a very good Overcooked feel. And the goal here is to move X number of items into the moving truck to help someone move. So it's pretty simple, and it's a mix here of moving and organizing the truck to fit. So you always have a couch bed, and you can't jump with them, and you only get one truck, so you have to align your items accordingly. The first levels actually introduce you to this by moving a lot of bigger items that if you don't place right, you're going to have to reorganize the truck a little bit. So I thought that was a cool thing, but it did slow you down, especially single player, how I played this. The humor was pretty good. I liked all the references and jokes. You start out doing mandatory training, which makes you laugh if you're ever in a world of work that you had to do that every year. And you get your fart license in order to help move. So I do like the jokes here. And it's a kind of a goofy looking game. So you wouldn't think it was serious on the physics, but it's really good physics actually. Just like being able to throw things and how they bounce. Carrying large objects, you can't jump and it's harder to move. So you got more level of like how big items are versus Get Packed where you were kind of slinging items around. The bonus goals here were enough. You usually got 3, and a lot of them was like either break all the windows, break nothing, pack up like flamingos, and other items like that. So that was actually kind of fun. They have an arcade as well that when you do these like bonus missions, you get coins to unlock more levels. And the arcade was like these platforming skills. But overall, you have like 30 houses to move out. And they varied from wide ranges of big houses, 1-room apartments. Solo did feel slow to me. I felt like I did have a hard time meeting some of the time things. So I felt like if I had more people, and this was also a local game only, I felt like it would have been more enjoyable. With this and the references, again, the second level was my favorite, which I'm showing here now, with a good reference that we all enjoyed probably from my time. I would say this is a download. The pros here is if you did play Overcooked, cooking simulator, you're going to get a lot of feels with that, and it's goofy and fun physics. I enjoyed that. The con here is the setback of being local only, where I wish I had more players to enjoy the game with instead of playing solo. That was slight down for me, but I was still able to play the game and enjoy myself. So that's it. We have 5 games. Pretty good batch this time. There was 2 games. The Escapist, I feel like you're always going to be on the border there. It is highly recommended on a lot of games. It just doesn't work for me. Before I Forget is just very short. But other than that, we had 3 solid games that I enjoyed a lot that I'll probably still be playing, actually. So I find that really good. Next month, we'll see what the next 5 games will be. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video. Peace.